After Izuku's recovery, he and the girls headed towards the Amazon's apartment. "You took your time, guys," Barbara said as she saw the 4 missing members enter. Donna and Z smiled, while Kara hid her blush, or tried to. "Izuku, girls, it's good that you're here," said Diana dressed as Wonder Woman. "What's up, sister, league problems?" Donna asked. "Something like that, we need your presence along with some guests at the Watchtower," Wonder Woman reported. The group was surprised. "We'll go to the Watchtower," they all shouted, and Izuku just covered his ears from the loud shout. "Will Eri be going with us too?" Izuku asked, noticing that the infant was already preparing for the trip. "There's no other place to leave her, so she's coming with us." "Don't worry, I'll take care of her myself," said Wonder Woman. "And how do we get to a station that's in orbit?" Karen asked, somewhat excited, "Perhaps with a spaceship?" "Nothing like that, in fact someone will take us," the older Amazon revealed to the group. After saying that, a ring-shaped portal of light appeared in the middle of the room. "What the hell?" Kara shouted in surprise. "Sorry for the mortal inconvenience," said the hero Dr. Fate. "OMG. It's Dr. Fate." Z squealed with stars in his eyes. "He's one of the best sorcerers known." "I think Z has already met his idol," Barbara whispered to Izuku, who just gave a small smile. "Ready for the trip?" Dr. Fate asked, inviting them to go through the portal. "Earth orbit, Watchtower." "I can't believe it, we're really here," Barbara shouted, looking into space through the Watchtower panels. "Seeing space isn't as exciting as it should be," Carol said to Jessica, who nodded in confirmation. "Welcome to the Watchtower, ladies," said a deep, somewhat dark voice. "It can't be, it's Batman," Barbarian shouted, jumping for joy, and then grabbed Karen and shook her. "It's Batman." "Wow, Bab, stop the madness," said Carol, but Barbara ignored her. "Anyway, you were called here for some important information, so I advise you to listen carefully," said Wonder Woman. "You see, the Justice League, as you well know, is one of the most powerful groups of superpowers on the planet, but it is not the only one. Several groups of heroes, vigilantes and people with great potential are in the world, and that is why the League started the Young Justice Project, and that is where you come in," explained Batman, taking the group by surprise. "Guys, thanks to your merits, you were selected to be part of Young Justice," said Wonder Woman. "Wow, that's amazing," Megan said. "Congratulations guys," Eri said, jumping for joy. "You are not the only ones, there are several young heroes in the Watchtower who are also summoned," reported Dr. Fate. "I advise you to change," said Wonder Woman. "Okay girls, let's go," said Donna, and the others followed Megan to the locker room. "Something else," said Batman, getting the attention of the group. "You won't be wearing your usual outfits. In the locker room there are lockers with your code name. There will be your new uniform," said Batman, surprising the group even more. "Come Eri, join us while they change," said Wonder Woman, taking Eri. "When you're ready, Megan will guide you to the training room where the others will be," said Batman, leaving with Wonder Woman and Dr. Fate. "Talia, training room. Do you think the girls will like their outfits?" Cyborg asked. "It took me a long time to make the designs." "Sure man, nobody makes super suits as good as my half-machine friend," said Flash, eating a hamburger. "You are amazing, Mr. Robot," said Eri, eating some chips. "I'm surprised those girls would accept this," Wonder Woman said, looking at 2 girls in particular. "As far as I know, only one of them accepted immediately. The other joined later thanks to her friend," said Superman. "It seems they're coming," said Batman, and immediately the doors of the training room opened, drawing the attention of the young heroes. "How did you know?" Flash asked, confused. "Because I'm Batman," said the Dark Knight, giving a mocking smile. "This suit feels great, it's very flexible too," said Wonder Girl. "It feels weird not having my usual skirt and cape. Why is it so long?" Supergirl asked. "I like your suit, and the cape is perfect. And, what do you think of mine?" said Batgirl, sipping a milkshake. "It looks divine on you, dear, but mine is fantastic." "Congratulations to the designer," said Z. "It's amazing that you could adapt my technology, but it feels embarrassing to wear this suit," said Bumblebee. "And you doubt that yours is shameful, just look at mine." "And don't doubt that yours is embarrassing, just look at mine, even though I like it a lot. What do you think Deku will think when he sees me?" Star Sapphire asked. "Although I like him a lot, what do you think Deku will think when he sees me?" Star Sapphire asked. "Why is your hair pink?" "You know it doesn't matter just because you ask that," said a blushing Green Lantern. "And why don't you have a new suit, Miss Martian?" Batgirl asked the Martian. The design is the same but the suit is an improved version of the previous one, it has new functions and is more adaptable than the other one, said Miss Martian. The group of girls quickly caught the attention of all the boys in the room, making them blush slightly. "Hello ladies, I think I need a map, because I got lost in your eyes," said a male Green Lantern, who was quickly recognized by two lanterns. "Seriously, Hal, don't you recognize us?" Green Lantern asked Jessica. "Wait a second," Hal started to think, seeing the two girls in front of him looking at him with a face of "he's an idiot." "Jessica, Carol?" he said in a whisper so as not to reveal their identities. "Wow, he really recognized us," Star Sapphire said mockingly. "But what happened to their outfits? They look more sexier," said Hal, and then he started looking at the others, making them uncomfortable, especially Carol. "What's wrong with you, Hal, that you can't see a pretty girl without turning into an idiot?" Star Sapphire asked angrily. Did you say something?" Hal asked, still staring at Supergirl's legs. "Nothing," said Star Sapphire. Hal does it in a gallant way to the group of superheroines. "Hey babe, I think we haven't been introduced. They call me Green Lantern. What do you think if we go out just the two of us when this meeting is over?" Hal said, trying to sound seductive for Supergirl. "I'm sorry, even though I like green, you're not my type, friend, so get out of my way if you don't want me to crush you," said Supergirl, passing Hal and walking towards Jessica and Carol. "Well, how about you, babe?" he said, winking at Wonder Girl. "I dislike you in ways you can't imagine," Donna said with a smile, leaving Hal stunned and walking past, heading towards her sisters. "Well, it doesn't matter, and how are you beautiful?" said Hal, giving his hand to Batgirl. "Oh? Thanks," said Batgirl, giving him her empty milkshake container. "How gentlemanly of you to offer to throw it for me," she said mockingly. "Why yes," said Hal, sending the container to a trash can with his ring. "And what about you, precious?" Hal said desperately to Zatanna. "I'm sorry, but you're not my type. I like cute guys," said Zatanna, walking towards the others. "And?" Hal started looking at Bumblebee and Miss Martian. "No, thank you," they both said in unison and left with the others. "Not even 1 in 5? Hal said in a whisper. "What happened to my charm?" "No, Hal, you are irresistible. They must play hard to get. After all, they are heroines and they are harder to conquer," Hal said, trying to convince himself. "Hal is disgusting." He had no qualms about trying to seduce them, and when he failed with one he went with the other as if nothing had happened, said Star Sapphire. "What did I see in him to begin with?" "It's not your fault he's an idiot," Jessica said. "Where is Izuku?" Supergirl wondered, looking everywhere trying to find him. "I'm sure it won't be long," said Batgirl, looking at the gadgets on her new suit. The moment he said that, the floodgates were opened again and a Deku in his new suit impressed everyone with his style. "Wow, that's great, Deku," Batgirl shouted, running towards Deku. "That's a cool green style," Supergirl said with a playful smile. "What happened to your bunny ears?" Zatanna asked, disappointed in her favorite detail. "I think it looks great on you, you look very handsome in it," said Star Sapphire, blushing at Izuku, who noticed her revealing outfit. "Oh, the naughty Deku noticed my new outfit. How does it look?" "It looks amazing, everyone's, it suits you very well," said Deku, smiling under the mouth cover. "Thanks, Deku, you're a sweetheart," said Z, stroking the freckled boy's hair, "but I still miss the ears." "I like how it looks on you, it makes you look tough," said Supergirl, "but the other one was really good too." "See, she misses the ears too," said Zatanna, blushing at Supergirl. "Since everyone is here, why don't you take the time to get to know each other better?" Cyborg said. "Hey guys," greeted a voice familiar to the group, "your outfits look great." "Or Aqualad?" "Thanks, friend. Yours is also very incredible," said Deku to his friend with aquatic powers. "Do you believe it? The truth is I wasn't very sure," said Aqualad, looking at the new design of his suit, replacing his blue shorts with full black pants. His shirt went from red to blood red with black details in the shape of shark fangs, and his gloves changed to black fingerless gloves. "Very good in my opinion," said Wonder Girl. "It looks amazing on you," Miss Martin complimented. "Oh, thanks guys, you are the best," said the little Atlantean. Excuse me," a voice directed at Deku made him turn around, finding a young pink-haired girl. "You're Deku, right?" "Eh? Yes, I'm Deku," said the green-haired boy, confused seeing how the girl's eyes shone. "Kya, your new outfit is amazing," squealed the pink-haired girl. "Oh? I'm sorry, maybe you don't remember me, but we already met." "Really?" Deku said, looking at her in detail, making the girl blush. "You will be." Star Sapphire also stared at the girl along with the rest of the team. "Oh. You are Jinx, right?" "That's right, I'm the bad luck sorceress Jinx," said the now known as Jinx. What do you think of my new Deku outfit? It's not really my style, but I think it looks good. Gosh girl, aren't you a bit young to be dressed like that? Supergirl said mockingly, bringing out a frown in the pink-haired girl. You again, I see you're more of an exhibitionist now than before, Jinx said with a sly smile. You'll be a girl, said Supergirl. Leave her alone, Supergirl. You don't remember how you left her last time, said Star Sapphire. About last time, said Deku, making Jinx blush hard as she remembered the state she was in. I see you took my advice to use your gifts for good. Yes, I started helping with minor things and one day Shazam saw me and said that this group would need someone like me, said Jinx smiling. Congratulations Jinx, said Deku playfully petting the pink-haired girl. Yes, lots of affection, don't you think? Supergirl said, jealous. Come on honey, it's just her, she's like 13, you have nothing to worry about, Zatanna said with grace when she saw her jealous friend. I don't know what you're jealous of, the scene is very cute, they look like a pair of siblings, said Wonder Girl, watching the green and pink duo. Hello new friends. Greeting a girl Jinx's age, accompanied by another girl. I'm Starfire. It's a pleasure to meet you, said the girl introducing herself, and this is our friend Raven. Aren't they too young to be walking around in those clothes as if nothing were wrong? Karen whispered to Jessica, who confirmed. They are my friends, we along with 2 other children form the Teen Titans, Jinx said. You guys are amazing, Raven said in a muffled tone, only heard by Supergirl. What did the girl say? Wonder Girl asked. Oh right, I had forgotten, Raven is very shy, so much that she is embarrassed to have her face seen, that's why she always wears a hood both in civilian clothes and as a heroine, said Jinx. Come on friend Raven, say hello. Starfire said. It's an honor to meet you, said Raven. It's a pleasure to meet you Raven, you don't have to be so shy with us, after all we will be a team, said Deku patting the gothic girl, which made her smile a little. Thank you, Raven said quietly, loud enough for Deku to hear her. Wow, you're green, man, said a boy's voice that was strangely green. I give Beast Boy, man that suit is great, said the boy looking at Deku. Beast Boy, stop bothering him, said a firm voice. It's an honor to meet you, Deku. My mentor has told me a lot about you. Oh? You must be Robin, right? If I remember correctly, Batman told me that you had your own team, I guess it must be them, said Deku. That's right, I've been training them recently and I recognize that they have a lot of potential, said Robin, bringing smiles to his team. Wow, why are there so many kids in this daycare? A boy said jokingly, teasing the younger ones. I'm just kidding, it's a pleasure, kids. Call me the Flash. Nice to meet you, Kid Flash. This question may sound silly, but do your powers have to do with Flash? Deku asked, taking a notebook out of his suit, taking advantage of this. Would you tell me your powers, guys? These actions made her friends sweat and left the others confused. Batman was right, he will take advantage of any opportunity to see our abilities and find weaknesses. He is very meticulous, he must surely be thinking of ways to neutralize us at any moment, thought Robin, looking at Deku. Great, so many new powers that analyzing this is very exciting, Deku thought, writing down in the notebook everything that the others told him about his powers. I see you already have your little group and you haven't invited us, said a pale blue girl with electric blue hair and a somewhat revealing outfit. Take only the reference suit. I just see a bunch of little kids, said the other girl, who for some reason looked familiar to Karen and Izuku. Just take the costume as a reference. She looks a lot like Doris, thought Deku, is it possible? Hey nerds, I'm High Voltage, the blue girl introduced herself, winking at Aqualad. I'm a giant, said the redhead. Deku. An albino jumped into Deku's arms, surprising the newly formed group of young people. Eerie. What are you doing here? You're supposed to be with Wonder Woman and Batman, said Deku. I got bored and decided to come here to meet the others, Eerie said. A new little friend, Joy. Shouted Starfire, taking Eerie in her arms and hugging her. That girl, Deku, has green hair in her eyes, thought a giantess watching Deku. The recently formed Young Justice Group. Made up of members of the Teen Titans, Superhero Club, and Lone Heroes. They introduced themselves to each other except for an annoying High Voltage who looked angrily at everyone but for some reason couldn't see Aqualad angrily, who greeted him with a smile, making him blush slightly. Green Lantern, Hal, tried to flirt with every girl he spoke to, disgusting them. Kid Flash got along great with Deku and Aqualad. The female members of the Young Titans knew and interacted with the newcomer Eerie, under the gaze of the giantess who seemed to be very thoughtful. The other girls were just relaxing and talking to each other. Good, since everyone knows each other a little, Flash began to say. We're going to run a series of tests on each of you in different areas, Cyborg concluded. Force. In this test, Supergirl and Giantess stood out, leaving Deku and Wonder Girl below them. The challenge did the best he could, except Hal who, wanting to impress Batgirl, tried to lift more than he could. Raven, seeing that she couldn't do it with her arms, pouted and used her telekinesis to lift the weight. Beast Boy used gorilla form to do it. Robin, being a boy whose strong suit is acrobatic ability and hand-to-hand combat, he was above average for someone his age. Speed. In this test, Kid Flash stood out by running around the entire training room, which measures the same as a baseball field, in less than a second, 0.6 seconds to be exact. Deku along with Supergirl tied for second place. Agility. In this test the room was modified by Cyborg to do parkour freely. Robin, Deku and Wonder Girl were the ones who stood out the most in this. Robin earning the compliments of his group. Can. For this test they brought a punching machine so strong that Superman could use it without fear of breaking or exploding. Deku, Supergirl, Giantess and Wonder Girl were the stars of this test. Deku being the one who stood out the most, creating a current of air after his blow so strong as to knock down most of them. But unfortunately, his arm was slightly fractured, nothing serious or anything to worry about. Medical test. In this one, they only allowed a series of medical examinations to be done by Martian detective along with Dr. Fate. Gosh, my whole body feels like it's on fire, Jinx complained. I still have energy left. Starfire said excitedly. My goodness, you are imperative, said Star Sapphire. She doesn't tire easily, said Raven, lying on the floor due to exhaustion. It's been a while since I trained this hard, Wonder Girl said. Most of the time I train with my sister. Everything hurts, I don't know how they do this every day to train? Zatanna said, wiping her sweat with a cloth. In fact, the League does not do this training but rather a more intense one adapted for each one. You could say that this was the general version, said Miss Martian, impressing everyone. Well, it was to be expected, they are not the strongest heroes for nothing, said Batgirl. After this I'd really like a nice slice of cake with a scoop of vanilla ice cream, said Green Lantern. Sweet Justice after this? Karen asked, lying on her back. Sweet Justice, the others responded. Can we go with you? Jinx asked alongside a cheerful Starfire. Of course, honey, Star Sapphire replied with a smile. How tired, said Aqualad. You'll get used to it, buddy, said Kid Flash. How nostalgic, it reminds me of the test Aizawa-sensei gave us on the first day, thought a smiling Deku. The doors of the room were opened and the members of the League entered along with Eerie, who had a nurse's outfit and a small bag. What are you doing, Eerie? Why are you dressed like that? Deku asked, holding back the urge to vomit rainbows when he saw her smiling so much in that uniform. Eerie, do your job, Superman asked the little girl. Eerie nodded and took off her bracelet showing her little horn. Those who didn't know that about her were very surprised and blushed a little at how she looked. Eerie ran towards the Giantess and High Voltage who, with all their willpower, held back as best they could from letting out a scream for the girl. Let me help you, asked Eerie, putting her hands on the High Voltage abdomen. A light coming out of Eerie's little horn surprised the duo. The girl's fatigue and muscle pain quickly went away. Thanks be brat, said High Voltage. Take a lollipop, miss. Eerie handed a lollipop from her purse to the girl in blue. So Eerie dedicated herself to restoring all those who needed it and then giving them lollipops. In the process Eerie earned hugs and kisses from the girls and a squeezing hug from Starfire. Beast Boy grabbed 2 lollipops, earning himself a karate chop to the head from Eerie, much to Robin's amusement. And done, now they're all like new, said Eerie, restoring Green Lantern. Hal, take a pallet. Thanks, girl, Hal said, taking it. Eerie walked smiling towards Wonder Woman. Did I do it right, Aunt? Eerie asked, and Wonder Woman yelled at her head. You did great, Eerie, you're a good doctor, said Wonder Woman, congratulating the albino. Thank you very much for everything, guys, and congratulations, from now on you are one of the new branches of the Justice League. From today you will be known as Young Justice, Superman said. Now you can go home, when the League needs your presence we will summon you again, said Batman. The next day, Izuku was reading a comic about star battles lent by Garth. Hey nerd? Doris took the comic from Izuku, making the green-haired boy look up. What's wrong, Doris? Izuku asked. I need to talk to you, he replied. I'll see you after lunch on the roof. After having his lunch at the cafeteria, Izuku said goodbye to the girls and went to the school rooftop where Doris was. What do you want to talk about, Doris? Izuku asked. Izuku. Are you Deku by any chance? The girl asked, taking the freckled boy by surprise. What are you saying, Doris? Yo Deku J ha ha ha, he laughed nervously. First, Izuku, it's very obvious that you're nervous. Second, you remember that I met Eri, right? Doris said. Yes, I think I remember that, but why do you ask, and how does Eri relate to me being a Deku? I asked. Izuku, I am a giantess, Doris revealed, causing Izuku to open his eyes wide. How did I not notice before? Izuku wondered. I didn't cover your face that day. Most didn't, Doris shrugged. But you only discovered me because of Eri? Izuku asked. No, the truth is I suspected since I saw your hair, said Doris. Who else in the whole world would have green hair? Damn, I just asked Cyborg to remove the hood, I'll have to ask him to reinstate it, thought the freckled man. One of the reasons why Izuku removed his hood was because he was mistakenly called a rabbit. Of course the children thanked him and he was known, but he did not want to be known as the rabbit hero. I don't intend to torture you or anything, after all we are now also a team against crime, but keep in mind that by describing you I could also reveal the girls in your group of heroes, said Doris. So everything's okay? Izuku asked. Great, but I'll just ask you one thing, said Doris, let's train from time to time, shall we? It would be very helpful to have someone strong in my routine. With pleasure. Izuku replied with a smile. With that said, Doris left with a smile. And that's what happened, Izuku finished telling Diana. She confided her identity in me. I'm surprised she's a heroine and all, but I think she suspects the girls. That's a dilemma, Diana said, eating a tub of ice cream. Maybe she knows, maybe she doesn't, but they're partners now, and at some point, they'll all reveal their identities to each other. Maybe Diana is right, Izuku thought, at some point everyone will reveal who they are, and maybe it won't be so bad that Doris knows who the girls really are. Of course she is Karen's bullying, but now she is a heroine. Maybe they won't change anything, taking his experience with his childhood friend Bakugo as an example. And where is Eri? Izuku asked. She went out with Lena and Donna to the park. They should be back soon, Diana replied, putting chocolate on her ice cream. Don't you think that's too much ice cream for you? I asked worriedly. I don't think so, besides it's just one can, I could handle up to 3 but I have to keep my figure. Tomorrow I'm going out with Bruce, said Diana, taking a bag of marshmallows out of nowhere and putting it in the ice cream. Do you want some, Izuku? And no, thanks, I'm fine, Diana. At the UA audit were Power Leader Hatsume, along with David Shield and his daughter Melissa. All of them were working on the carrier that May built to transport people. Along with them were classes A and B, their teachers, and Midoriya and Bakugo's mothers. While you're doing that, why don't we see Midoriya? Zero asked. Right, I want to see Midori, Mina said, waving her arms up and down. Maybe we can see my son, Inko said shyly. Maybe little Izuku is busy doing something important? Mitsuki said. That nerd who plows, he's probably training or studying, Bakugo shouted. Well, let's see what Midoriya does on the screen, said May, wiping the grease from her hands and face. Oh, could I see Deku-kun? Since we thought he died I haven't been able to see him anymore, said Melissa. Sure, come, said Jiru. What appeared to be a fly entered through one of the windows of the Amazon's apartment. Hey Izuku, don't you think this is cute? Diana said. What thing, Diana? I asked, confused, tilting my head. You know, just you and me. I like being with my sister, Eri, and her friends, but sometimes just spending time with you is rewarding, Diana said, taking a bite of her ice cream. Yeah, I think it's cute too, said Izuku, looking at the ceiling bullseye. The Amazon looked at Izuku with a playful smile that made the freckled boy nervous. The Amazon slowly approached the green-haired man until she cornered him at one end of the sofa. I got you, Izuku, I shouted playfully as I grabbed Izuku and pinned him down in a mama bear hug. Feel your sister's love. Diana. He tried to get away without any success. Damn Midoriya, every time I sell him he does something that is enviable, Mineta shouted, but no one paid attention to him. My baby, I can't believe he's doing that, Inko said, impressed. I remember when I was the only woman he would hug. Super in enviable situations, said Zero, watching the black-haired beauty drown her partner in her. How jealous, Momo thought. Always with other women, thought Uraka. Diana, please let me go. The freckled man asked. Nope, said the smiling Amazon. Come on Izuku, if you can't handle me, how will you deal with my sister? You know that we Amazons like to be a little rough. Let me go. Izuku begged. Diana is having fun having Izuku in an Eco-Roman wrestling hold. She really likes spending her time playing with her little brother, but the apartment doors were open, causing Diana's attention to go to the newcomers. Donna, I'm Lena. What are you doing to Izuku, sister? Donna asked, worried about her boyfriend. Are you playing Aunt Diana? I asked. Can I play too? Izuku, Lena shouted worriedly. Nothing bad, little sister. I'm just showing brotherly love to Izuku, said Diana, letting him go. Why yes, love, the freckled man said with difficulty. Are you okay, Izuku? Lena asked worriedly. Do you want me to get a first aid kit? Don't be so exaggerated, Lena, he's fine, said Diana. They look like brothers, Eri said gracefully. I would never be the sister of a pervert like him. I only care because he is your dad and nothing else. Lena screamed, blushing. Who is that girl? Inko asked. Does it seem like she cares about my baby? I think she's Eri's friend, said Kendo from Class B. Gosh, how envious a blonde lolly is that sees him as her brother. How lucky some people are, said Mineta. Don't say those things, Mineta said Kaminari, pointing at Tsuyu. You're lucky I can't hear you. Sister, I think I can't leave you alone with Izuku anymore, Donna said angrily. Or come on Donna, are you going to take away my brother-sister quality time? Diana said with a pout. Don't be mean, you have it all the time. He's my boyfriend. You don't have to drive him to the brink of fainting just for quality time, Donna yelled. Boyfriend, is Izuku Donna's boyfriend, Eri? Lena asked surprised. Yes. Dad and Mom Donna are a couple, 3 said Eri. Lena, I forgot you were here. Please don't tell anyone that Izuku and I are dating, Donna said to Lena. If Lena, no one can know that Mom Donna, Mom Z and now Mom Kara are my dad's girlfriends, Eri shouted, leaving those who were there stunned. Eri already knew about the relationship between her father and the two young heroines, but recently she discovered that Kara was also dating her father. She became suspicious when she saw that the always rude Kara was much more affectionate with her father, and then she asked Z and she confessed everything, but who can blame the magician? She had a weakness for Eri and it was impossible for her to say no to her. Oops, I guess I shouldn't have said that, Eri said, embarrassed. Silence was all that could be heard in the UA auditorium, not only from the students who were classmates of the favorite freckled bonebreaker, but also from his mother, aunt and the inventors who stopped working upon hearing Eri's revelation. Midori is living with 3 girls? Asked a girl who came out of shock. How is that possible? Mineta shouted. Midoriya already has a girlfriend. Girlfriends, what chance do I have? Thought a sad Momo. Deku-kun, Uraka touched a part of her chest, feeling the emptiness. Ha 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 ha, come on. What a womanizer, one of the best in Class A is, shouted a Monoma, laughing smugly. Shut up Monoma. Kendo gave him a quick blow to the neck, knocking him down. Is that true, Izuku? Lena asked with a pout. Are you a womanizer, dating 3 girls at once? Boy, are teenagers precocious? Lena, don't say that, Donna said, blushing. Izuku isn't a womanizer. In any case, it would be the girls and I who wanted to share him. Well, Izuku is a good catch, but that's only if you take away his perverted and childish face, Lena shouted, leaving Izuku with a blank expression. Lena loves Izuku a lot, from what I see, Diana said, laughing a little. It's not that he wants it that way, Izuku is like the older brother I always wanted to have, said Lena, pouting. Don't worry Lena, I love you like a little sister too, said Izuku, getting up from the ground, jogging on his back. Gosh, that hurt. But Lena, you have to keep the secret that we're dating Izuku, understand? Donna asked. I'm not stupid, Lena said, frowning. How about Lena stay for a pick-me-up with Dad? Eri asked Izuku. She would have to ask Mercy's permission, said Izuku. I'll call her, Lena shouted. I think that's enough for today, May said, turning off the screen. I'm glad my baby is happy and already has a girlfriend, but 3 is weird, Inko said. That blonde looked very excited when Izuku said he loved her like a little sister, said Mitsuki, having a little. What do you say about the machine, ladies and gentlemen? Nezu asked. It's finished. These 2 weeks without rest have given you results, Now we just need to test it on a living being and we can send someone with Izuku and Eri, said David. But who will we take first? Midnight asked. I offer to look for Midoriya Shonen, said All Might. I don't think it's a good idea. The goal is for them to be ordinary people and not stand out much, and you, Toshinori, are not exactly normal, said Nezu, seeing the skeletal form of the ex-hero number 1. I offer myself. Inko raised her hand. Izuku is my son and it is a mother's duty to find him when he is lost. Mrs. Midoriya, I understand you, but in that city everyone speaks English, unless you can speak it fluently. No. Nezu couldn't finish because of Midoriya's interruption. I speak the language perfectly. Who do I think I am? If my son could learn it, I could too. In addition, my ex-husband lived in America, said Inko, speaking English perfectly. She's very skillful, her accent is almost imperceptible, said Pony to the green-haired lady. Thank you, dear, said Inko, giving the student a cookie. Another volunteer. Remember you have to be normal looking and speak English fluently, said Nezu looking at his students. I will go as vice president. My duty is to bring Midoriya-san back, and as her friend I want to know that she is okay with my own eyes, Momo said in English. Well, we already have 2 volunteers. I think that's enough for the first trip, said Melissa. So each one went back to their homes and in her case, students to the academy residences. One more bear to return with Izuku and Eri, but the question is if they want to return. Midoriya, if you don't want to come with us again, maybe it's best to forget about you, thought Momo, seeing a Russian doll dressed as the hero Deku Midoriya. At the Midoriya house, Inko was putting clothes in her suitcase. My baby, don't worry, Mom will come see you, said Inko, looking at a picture on her dresser of a baby Izuku. That reminds me, I have to take my baby's photo album to show those young ladies, said Inko, putting in a photo album. Maybe if my baby decides to stay, I can keep it. A new day in Japan. After the progress of the support group and the 2 inventors of Island, the Hatsume machine is ready to transport organic matter. The tests were directed by Principal Nezu along with Power Loader, along with the help of student Kota, who reluctantly called for animals to do the tests. Luckily for the animals, it turned out to be a success. Now the UA is ready to send Inko Midoriya and Momo Yaoyorozu after Izuku and Eri. Are you sure you're carrying that much luggage, Mrs. Midoriya? Momo asked when she saw the green-haired girl. Of course, a woman needs what is necessary for a trip, and I also have some of my baby's things that she might have missed, replied the green-haired woman who had about 5 suitcases. Let me help you, said Momo, taking 2 suitcases from Inko. Okay, listen, ladies, Nezu said in front of the 2 women. Young Hatsume invented a tracker that will tell you where young Midoriya is. I made it based on the same technology that spy cameras are equipped with, Mei said, handing the green-haired girl a device that looks like a cell phone. Thank you, Midoriya said with a smile characteristic of his family. Well, I hope they are ready. The portal is already ready, said David, looking at a tablet. Class A along with Momo's parents were there to say goodbye to their friend and daughter. And Mitsuki and her husband Masaru said goodbye to their friend. I hope you have luck, daughter, said Yaoyorozu's father. If you find something interesting, could you bring it to me? Said Momo's mother, hugging her. Take care, daughter. I will, said Momo, kissing her parents. See you later, ya Momo, shouted her friends from the hero class, hugging her. Don't worry, girls, said the smiling Momo. See you, Inko, said Masaru, saying goodbye. If you see Izuku, give him a hug from me, then hit him hard for being so reckless, said Mitsuki, making her friend sweat. Well, the carrier is already loaded, are you ready? Melissa asked. Let's go, Momo-chan, Inko said, taking Momo by the arm. I hope everything goes well for you, Nezu said worriedly. They will be, I have faith in it, said All Might, sipping tea. Inko and Momo were at the edge of the portal when a kind of crack opened. Inko entered, no longer impressed by everyone's lack of fear or concern. Momo blinked a little and followed Midoriya's example, entering the portal. We just have to hope everything goes well, said Nezu. Are we there? Momo asked, seeing that they were in an alley and Mrs. Midoriya? She shouted worriedly. I must find her, Momo shouted, rushing out of the alley carrying the suitcases. Momo, worried about the safety of her crush's mother, searched everywhere she could without much success. She saw in the distance a graffiti of Deku next to some children taking pictures, but she also saw a clump of green hair. Mrs. Midoriya, Momo shouted, drawing the attention of the aforementioned, who turned to look at her. Momo-chan? Where were you? I looked for you everywhere? Inko asked. Sorry, the portal must have taken us to different places because we didn't enter at the same time, said Momo. Don't worry, did you see this, Momo-chan? People love my baby, he's already a hero, Inko said happily, seeing her son's graffiti on the wall. She could see the detail, even the rays that came off it seemed so real. Whoever did this must admire him a lot, don't you think? I see, I'm glad Midoriya is seen as a great hero, Momo said, smiling as she looked at what she thought was a work of art. You care a lot about my baby, don't you? Inko asked, smiling at the brunette. It's not that I worry about him that way, he's a student of Class A and I as his vice president worry about him as much as the others, said Yaoyorozu. Inko just smiled. It was very obvious that the brunette had feelings for her son, but she already knew that her son had some girls in his life. She wouldn't deny it. She was glad that her son had a girlfriend, but it's strange that there are so many at the same time. But if I think about it, if my baby agrees to go out with 3 girls, having Momo-chan shouldn't be a bother, thought Midoriya, walking behind Momo, who saw the tracker. The green-haired girl began to like the brunette in recent months. After the supposed death of her son and granddaughter, Midoriya entered a deep depression. Luckily she had her best friend to support her, and not only her son's classmates and friends visited her from time to time, but among all of them the girl Yaoyorozu was the most constant. She brought her food and stayed with her until she felt better. Even with Yaoyorozu he found a daughter figure. He likes the girl and knew that the girl liked his son. You know, Momo-chan, when we see my baby, how about I teach you how to prepare his favorite dish? Inko said, causing Momo to suddenly stop. I would love to. The girl said with a small blush. I can't do this, Jessica shouted, holding a pencil. I don't understand these equations. Let me help you, Jess. Kara took her pencil and started helping her Latina friend. Who would have thought that Kara is an A student? Barbara said, laughing. No wonder I'm good at equations. On Krypton as a kid I did math equations that weren't even invented here, said Kara. The group of girls were in the living room of the Amazon sisters' apartment, catching up on their studies. Izuku had already finished and was drawing the members of the Young Titans in his notebook. No, it's not like that. Raven has thicker thighs and her cape is longer, thought the boy, making the corrections to the drawing. Diana was in the kitchen watching the young people with a certain grace. Today's youth are always striving, said the Amazon, opening a jar of pickles. Well, now where did I put the mayonnaise? Little Eerie went out with her friend Lena to the park with Merci, who would take care of them. Don't you think nothing exciting has happened these days? Karen asked. The truth is that days like this should be appreciated. No one knows how much peace and quiet is worth, said Donna, closing her book. I finished. I really wish something interesting would happen today, said Barbara. Nothing interesting will happen just if you ask for it, said Jessica. Thanks for the help, Kara. You're welcome, that's what friends are for, said the blonde. Still, Barbara is right, I hope something happens today. When Carol finished speaking, the doorbell rang throughout the apartment. I'll open it, said Diana, finishing eating. Who's this next? Donna asked, seeing the living room clock and showing that it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Izuuuuko. A female voice echoed throughout the building. That voice. Izuku felt strangely familiar with the scream. Izuku. A short, somewhat plump woman entered the room, jumping towards the green-haired man. Who is that woman? Jessica wondered. She looks very familiar, Carol thought upon seeing her. His hair is like Izuku's, thought Donna. She will be, Barbara thought, analyzing the woman. Who is she and what is she doing on top of Izuku? The rest thought when they saw her hug the green-haired boy. My baby, I missed you so much. Inko screamed, crying her eyes out. Baby? They all screamed. Mom? Izuku shouted in surprise. Mom. They all shouted. Is she Izuku's mother? Z asked. Apparently so, said Barbara. But I thought Izuku and Eri were sent to this universe? Carol asked. Apparently she found a way to be here, said Kara. Is she my boyfriend's mother? Gosh, I'm nervous, I just hope she likes me. Izuku's mother is here, I can finally meet my mother-in-law, Z thought with a smile. Mom, what are you doing here? It's more like? Izuku asked. I can answer that, said a female voice accompanied by a target. Yaoyorozu? Izuku shouted upon seeing his partner. Hi, Midoriya-san greeted the blushing brunette. I missed you so much, she shouted, jumping to hug him along with her mother. Action that raised the alarms in the girls present, Except Megan, who only proceeded to see the brunette having slight memories belonging to Eri. After a while Inko calmed down and let go of Izuku and introduced herself to the others. Momo began to tell how they got to this place and what their mission was. Is there a way back? Izuku asked. That simple question made the other people present saddened, as they would not only lose a friend but also their little brother figure, secret love and boyfriend. If it's not great, Midoriya, you and Eri can go back with the others. With me, said Momo, whispering the last part, only heard by Kara. 2M not sure, said Izuku, leaving Momo in shock. I made a life here, I have friends, people I consider my family, even Eri has fun here. I built all this just to leave it like this? The group of girls belonging to that universe smiled at what Izuku said. Inko just looked at how much her son had grown with a smile. Momo had her head down. She knew how happy Izuku looked every time she saw him behind that screen, but she refused to think that he preferred this world compared to hers. But now she is receiving a concrete answer from the green-haired man. He wants to stay here if it is his wish. She could not interfere with that. I understand. The portal will be open again in about 3 weeks. When that happens I will leave and tell them that you also want to stay. They will understand. After all you were living many adventures in this place, said Momo, smiling despite the tears in her eyes. Why Yaoyorozu-san, don't cry. It's not that I don't want to see them anymore, it's just that I already have a new life here and I don't think it would be right to abandon everything, said Izuku. I understand you, son, Midoriya said. I understand how you feel, and I just want to tell you that you're staying. I'll stay with you, Inko said, causing both Momo and Izuku to open their eyes wide. But Mom, what about your life in Japan? Her son asked worriedly. My baby, without you, I don't feel alive. You're my son, and my duty as a mother is to take care of you and be with you when you need it. I don't think having a portal for that is necessary if I move with you and you're in this place. You have a good mother, Izuku, said Diana. Thank you again for taking care of my son and granddaughter, Inko said, bowing. It's nothing, I like Izuku, and little Eri is like a ray of sunshine, she's so cute, said Diana. You are my baby's friends, right? Inko asked, knowing the answer. She even knew that the girl Donna, Z and Kara had a relationship with her son. It was not her business to say it if they are supposed to keep it a secret. That's right, Mrs. Midoriya, your son is wonderful, said Barbara. He must have raised him very well, Karen said. That's right, my baby is the most important thing in the world to me and I'm glad you're with him, Inko said. What's going on here? Asked a child's voice, making everyone turn to see Lena, who was accompanied by Eri. Gee Grandma, Eri shouted, hugging Inko. My little one, Inko said. So after another moment of explanations for the little one. So I can stay here? I asked. That's right, and I'm with you, said Inko. I'll have to talk about that with Batman, thought Diana. After all, on paper it says Izuku's invention was an orphan. And you, Momo, will stay with us? Eri asked. Momo was thinking after the question. She didn't know what to do. Her only purpose was to bring back Izuku and Eri, but with them wanting to stay here and Inko wanting to live with them, she didn't know what to do. A part of her wanted to say yes, but the other knew that she had responsibilities, family and friends in her world. What would her parents think if she decided to stay? I don't know, I answer as honestly as possible. Do you have a place to stay? Karen asked. Well, we just arrived, so no, replied Inko. You could stay at my house, Carol said. My mom is away and I have an extra room. Thank you so much, honey, Inko said with her smile. Oh, now that I'm here. Inko quickly began searching through her suitcases for something. I found it. She took out a green book that looked very familiar to Izuku's photo album. What? Mom, Izuku shouted, embarrassed. Izuku when he was little? Lena said, looking at the album. Aw, you're so cute, baby Izuku, said Diana, looking at a picture of a newborn. Kya, Izuku is so adorable. Carol squealed while looking at the photos. Wow, they're so cute, they give me cavities, said Kara, seeing the photo of Izuku in his all-might pajamas as a child. Ha ha ha, you are so adorable, Izuku, said Donna. You're a cutie, Z said. That's enough, girls, I shouted, embarrassed. Just 3 days after the arrival of Inko and Momo, things couldn't be better. With the recent appearance of his mother, Izuku didn't stop being pampered by her, as well as Eri. One of the green-haired girl's suitcases was full of Izuku's figures and the other had Eri's toys along with some gifts from Mirio and Aizawa. Inko also decided to be the perfect housewife in Z's words. She cooked, cleaned and took care of the girls. She also decided to teach the girls her son's favorite dish, katsudon, all when she saw them peeking in the kitchen when she was teaching Momo. Since the girls learned to cook katsudon tall in the style of their mother, Izuku couldn't be happier. And the matter with Inko's death certificate was arranged by Batman himself. Creating a case that she survived because a cult revived her in the Lazarus pits, it turns out that she had already had a similar problem and the government would have no reason to contradict them. After all, they live in a world of aliens, metahumans and other strange beings. And the arrival of her mother could not have been at a better time, since at her school it is open class day and parents and guardians of the students can go. "Gosh, my father is going to embarrass me today," Barbara said. "Why are you so sure of that, Babs?" Kara asked. "My parents are sure to give me a hard time, just look at how I'm dressed." Kara today, instead of her typical rocker girl outfit, had a yellow ankle-length dress, brown boots and a heart necklace. "I think you look good," Carol said, flattering her friend. "I'm glad my mom is coming. She usually doesn't have much time for me, but her coming means a lot." "My moms took the day off just to watch their oldest daughter be a model student," Jessica said, if Jessica had two moms. "My mother Hippolyta will be coming from Themyscira, so I have to make sure her trip isn't in vain," said Donna. "How lucky you are, my parents couldn't come because of their work," Karen said somewhat sadly. "But my mom told me that she would also come to see you," said Izuku, surprising Karen. "Is that true? I remember telling Mrs. Inko that my parents couldn't come, so she said she would have a surprise for me," Karen said happily. For all the girls, Inko became a mother figure in just 3 days and they were all grateful that she was in their lives. "And your uncle will come, Megan?" Izuku asked the Martian. "That's right, my Uncle John not only wants to see my intellectual level but also if I fit in with the Earth teenagers," said Megan, giving a smile. "Normal is boring. I think you're fabulous just the way you are," said Barbara. "Thank you," Megan said, hugging the redhead. "And what's going on with Momo?" Donna asked. The Amazon had no reason to dislike the girl. Of course she knew that she was in love with Izuku, but also that she knew about the relationship that her friends and she have with him. Momo herself mentioned it indirectly when she revealed that they were spying on Izuku a couple of times, and the way the brunette looked at Z, Kara and her with that look of envy and jealousy, it was very clear that she knew everything. "Yaoyorozu will be looking for an apartment for us with Diana," said Izuku. Another thing that changed was that Inko decided that Izuku and Eri would live with her when she found an apartment. Of course, Donna was sad at first, but she got over it when Izuku and Eri told her that they would visit her every day. Besides, she spends most of her time with them. Yaoyorozu has a few weeks before returning and she also wants to explore the city. Izuku had offered to give her a little tour of the metropolis. Of course Donna, Z and Kara were jealous, but they let it go. They were friends and they also needed to trust Izuku and that he wouldn't cheat on them. In Metropolis High School, girls rarely behaved properly. There were always those students who were rebellious, noisy, and untidy, but in open classes, everyone tried to look better. What motivation surpasses that of your parents seeing you in every class to judge you along with the parents of your classmates? Ijuuu. A voice called to the green-haired boy, drawing the group's attention. "It's nice to see you, little greenie." "Barbie, how are you?" The green-haired man greeted the fur girl. "Oh come on Izu, be a little more relaxed with me," said the girl. "Hey, you. Well, you know Izu, my parents are coming today too and I was wondering if you could meet them. They always wanted to meet one of my friends, but all the ones I have are so boring that they wouldn't like me, and who better than you to make them like you?" "Sure Barbie, my mom will come too, maybe you can meet them," said the green-haired boy. "It will be a pleasure, Izuku, bye," said the girl, giving him a kiss on the cheek, making Izuku blush. "See you later." What's going on, G girls?" I asked, seeing the aura of death that the girls emanated, except Megan, who was confused. "Gosh, you can't last a day without flirting with another girl?" Z asked jealously. "Maybe that bothers you too, Izuku. You already have all of us and you want more," said Carol, letting herself be carried away by the power of her ring. That statement made all the girls already blush. Don't say those things in public," Carol said, Jessica watching the students murmur about them. "Well, I'm fine with it. Izuku already has many, he doesn't have to go looking for more." "Ghetto Carol." What are you talking about?" Izuku said. Of course he knew about the others' feelings, or so he thought, because the girls were very attached to him, more than a common friendship should be. "What's going on here, Kara?" a woman asked, looking at Kara. Mom, hi," Kara greeted, blushing. "Nothing's wrong, it's just that she got her period, you know," Kara said, blushing to Carol. "Hey, you must be Kara's friends," said a man. "Guys, let me introduce you to my adoptive parents, Eliza and Jeremiah Danvers." Kara introduced her parents. It's a pleasure to meet you, they all said. What polite girls, Kara, you should learn something from them, said Eliza. Maybe if you learned to be more polite you would have more success in the future and many opportunities, said Jeremiah. Dads, Kara shouted. Well, these are Donna, Z, Karen, Barbara, Jessica, Carol, and Megan, and he is Izuku. Nice to meet you girls, Jeremiah said. Eliza then looked at Izuku from head to toe, analyzing him. He looks like a good boy and he seems to be polite. It's a pleasure to meet the boy my daughter talks so much about, Eliza said, hugging Izuku. Mom! Red Kara shouted. With classes starting, Izuku and the girls went to their classrooms. Inko arrived with Hippolyta and they quickly became friends. Many parents also came to see their children, like Hal's parents, whose mother was ashamed of the advances and flirtations her son made to every pretty girl he saw, while his father seemed to be proud. Doris's parents turned out to be nerds, as she calls them, the opposite of what one would believe. Carol's mother also seemed very strict and every time her daughter approached Hal she seemed tense, but it passed when she saw Carol's dislike for the brunette. Jessica's mothers were also very kind, just like her, but for some reason they couldn't take their eyes off Izuku, making him nervous. Just like Barbara's father who seemed to threaten Izuku with his gaze. I couldn't believe your mother crossed a universe to be with you, Wally said to Izuku. Izuku, Wally and Gart revealed their identities as did Hal. The boys saw no reason not to be friends since they were now partners in Young Justice. Man, that sounds like a really good family sci-fi plot, Garth said. I can't believe how hot Mother Carol is, Hal said. The others looked at him strangely and decided to ignore him. And where is your mother? I want to meet her, Wally said, and Garth nodded. He must be in the cafeteria right now? Izuku said. So the boys went to the cafeteria and were surprised to find several dozen girls surrounding a table. But what's going on? Hal asked. Hey, excuse me, but what's going on? There are so many people gathered? Wally asked a girl who was leaving the group. Well, a lady is giving some very good advice and the girls are waiting their turn. If you excuse me, I have to finish with Kevin, he's no good for me, and so the girl left. Is someone giving the girls advice? Garth said. Who do you think it is? Wally asked. Hey guys. Barbara came out of the crowd with a cookie walking Asia, Izuku and the others. Barbara, what? You were there too? Hal asked. Yes, the other girls too, but I have to go find my dad. By the way, Izuku, your mother makes very good cookies, Barbara said, leaving the cafeteria. My mother? Is she the one giving advice? Izuku said. Come on, guys, I have to go with her. Sure old man, let's go, said Hal. So the boys crossed the crowd of girls until they reached the table where Inko was along with Hippolyta in a white dress and the girls and their respective parents. My girl, I don't think he's good for you. It sounds like he's only interested in your body and not your feelings, Inko said to a cheerleader. Maybe you're right? Thanks, it made me see that he's no good, he'll end up with Brian, he said, coming out of the crowd. Mom? Izuku asked, surprised. My baby, Inko shouted, jumping to hug Izuku. She's the mother of the cinnamon roll? Said a girl. It was very obvious, she is just as sweet and cute as him, said another. Gosh, I'm so jealous. I want a mom like that too, said another. Okay girls, advice will be for later, I want to spend time with my son, Inko said, and the remaining girls left disappointed. Your mom is great, man, Wally said. Are they your friends? Inko asked, looking at the three boys. Yes, they are, Wally, Garth and Hal said. Izuku. Nice to meet you guys, I hope my son doesn't cause you any problems, Inko said, bowing. Why don't you sit down, boys? Asked Sarah, one of Jessica's mothers. Sure, miss, said Izuku, sitting down. The boys went with their parents, saying goodbye to Izuku and the others. It's a pleasure to meet you guys, especially you Izuku, my daughter talks about you a lot, said Siobhan, the last part in a somewhat dark tone, making Jessica blush. Mom! Jessica screamed in embarrassment. Yes, my daughter, Siobhan said with a smile. Hello Izuku, nice to see you again, said Giovanni, I hope you're treating my daughter well. Always, Giovanni said. Izuku blushing. Z. So you're Izuku, huh? Thanks for helping my Carol with her obsession, said Carol's mother, which was an older version of her with a business suit and ruby painted lips with a ponytail. I'm Carolina, and I know I wasn't very original with my daughter's name. I think you and your daughter have cute names, Izuku said with a smile, making all the girls at the table blush. I don't like this, Jessica is letting her hormones get the better of her because of this guy, Siobhan thought angrily. Now I see why my Kara talks so much about this boy, thought Eliza with her husband. Carol finally got someone other than that idiot Hal Jordan, Carolina thought. Eeshk. Girls, let me introduce you to my father, James Gordon, said Barbara, introducing her father. A pleasure, Commissioner James Gordon, the man said. James Gordon, Batman had told me about him before, thought Izuku seeing the man. So he's the guy my little girl always talks about? I don't like him, James thought. At Metropolis School, still in the cafeteria on open school day. At the table of Izuku, the girls and their parents, a somewhat uncomfortable atmosphere was present for some. Well, Barbara's father, James Gordon, Siobhan Cruz, Jessica's mother, and Elizabeth Danvers, Kara's adoptive mother, although the latter did so with a sincere smile. They keep seeing Izuku making the girls and the other parents uncomfortable. Inko only seemed distracted from this by showing photos of her granddaughter Eri to Carolina. Luckily Carolina thought it was her other daughter. And tell me, Izuku, what are your intentions with my daughter? I asked bluntly, making Barbara and Izuku blush and impressing the other parents. Dad, Barbara shouted blushing. I don't have that kind of relationship with your daughter, said Izuku blushing. I hope so, kid, my Bobsy is my little princess and I don't want her to have a boyfriend yet, James said relaxing. Aw Dad, said Barbara hugging him. And what are your intentions with mine? Siobhan asked. Mother? Jessica blushed and covered her face. Both Barbara and Jessica are my precious friends and I value them very much, but I don't have that kind of relationship with them, said Izuku, leaving both James and Siobhan pleased. You are a very polite young man, Izuku. I'm glad Kara has you in her life, Elizabeth said, smiling. Kara spit out her drink, Mom. Blushing. Come on Kara, you've been changing a lot lately, you're kinder and more understanding than before, Jeremiah said, smiling. And we owe that to your new friends, said Elizabeth. It's nothing we like, Kara said Donna. Hippolyta smiled seeing her daughter's friends and her partner. Since we're talking about thank you Izuku for everything you did for me, Carol. The truth is I was feeling worried for her. She's young and I know she'll meet a lot of guys, most of whom will be idiots, and unfortunately she met one who was really bad. He left her very hurt, but you came and helped her without expecting anything in return. Thank you Izuku. Thank you, said Carolina, taking the hands of a surprised Izuku. Mom, said Carol, blushing with a few small tears. The others watched the scene with smiles, each thinking of their daughters. I would do it 1,000 times if it makes Carol laugh like she always does, said Izuku. You're a good boy, Izuku. If one day it happens you have my blessing to go out with my Carol, said the mother, blushing Izuku. Yes, Carol shouted, letting herself be carried away by her ring and hugging Izuku. Yes, very nice and all, but now let him go, said Kara jealously, trying to separate Carol from him. Kara, stop being jealous, you can hug him later, Z said, blushing at Kara. It wouldn't be fair, I want it too, said Donna. I also want a hug from Izuku, Karen said, blushing, hiding in her sweater. It's not fair that everyone gets a hug and I don't, Barbara shouted jealously. I think I want one too? Jessica said, blushing. The girls expressed their opinions, forgetting about their parents, some of whom saw the situation with humor and others with the jealousy of overprotective fathers. Today's youth, Giovanni thought, he already knew about his daughter's relationship with Izuku along with two of her friends. My Kara looks so lively, Elizabeth thought with a smile. Jessica was never that close to a boy? I think this Izuku is liking me more and more, Angela thought watching her daughter trying to hug the green-haired boy. How can my daughter be doing this? That's that boy's fault, Siobhan thought angrily. Why is my princess so close to this boy? James thought, sighing. It seems my daughter has some competition, Carolina said to Inko. Your son is very popular. Izuku is a good boy, no wonder, said Inko. The table was so distracted by what was around it that they didn't notice the strange looks of the parents and the jealous faces of the male students. Hey, now that I notice, where is Megan? Izuku asked, looking at Karen. She said she would go out with her uncle to show him the city. Classes are over after all, we are just here to socialize, Karen said. I talked to your teachers, I'm proud of how you've done, Izuku, but you should try harder in history, said Inko. Well, it's not like it's the story of my world, thought the green-haired man. My Donna got a 100 in every class, I couldn't be more proud, Hippolyta said. I saw yours too, Karen, your parents will be proud, said Inko, patting the girl on the head. Thanks Inko, she said, blushing. Suddenly a purple gas appeared in the cafeteria, causing people who breathed it to faint. That alerted the boys and their parents. Quickly run. James took Barbara on his shoulder. So the kids and their parents escaped from the cafeteria, but in the hallways they still found people lying on the floor. What's going on? Siobhan shouted worriedly. We must remain calm in these types of situations, said Jeremiah, taking his wife's shoulders. Why would people fall so easily? Carolina asked. That gas, the one from the cafeteria, did you notice it? Barbara asked her father. Yes, maybe that's the cause, said James. Daughter, stay close to us, okay? Angela said to Jessica, worried. Izuku, I think something's wrong with people? Inko said, seeing a girl trembling and sweating. It seems like he's having a nightmare? Giovanni said. This is weird, I don't detect any magic in the air. Could it be a power or something else? We should go somewhere safe, James said, entering a room, closing the door after everyone entered. A gas that gives others nightmares? Kara asked. That's most likely, said Carol. I've never heard of anything like this, Jessica said. This is rare in Gotham. There is a villain who has a gas that produces hallucinations and affects a part of the brain, causing fear in the victims, said Barbara. The Scarecrow? Said Izuku. Do you think this is because of him? Maybe, maybe not, but a gas that causes nightmares? If the Scarecrow gas also causes sleep, it would be the same, Donna said. While the boys were talking, their parents were trying to call the police. I have no signal, said Angela. Nor said Jeremiah. Neither do I. What's going on? James asked, taking a cigarette out of his trench coat. Giovanni approached the young people. Guys, we have to do something fast. The gas seems to be a problem, so while no one was paying attention to me, I cast a spell on you and the others that will make you immune to the gas, said Giovanni. Wow, how many spells does he have? Carol asked. I have many, young ladies, most of them are very useful in these cases, said the man. Do you have spells for gases that produce soil and possibly hallucinations? Barbara asked. How do you think I get out of the gas chamber on my escapes? He said playfully. Bruno, that settles one issue, but how are we going to get out without our parents noticing? Jessica said. My parents know I'm Supergirl, maybe they're acting worried so as not to raise suspicions that I could easily go out and save everyone, Kara said. My mother is an Amazon, but I told her to act like a normal woman so she won't go out to fight if her parents are here, said Donna. So Jessica, Carol, Karen, and I are the only ones whose parents don't know about our super identities, Barbara said. In fact, my parents know I'm a hero. When they saw my costume on the news they knew it was me, Karen said, scratching her cheek. They helped me do it. This is complicated. They won't let us leave without explanations in this situation, Jessica said. The glass of the door was broken by the blow of an aluminum bat. I found other people in this room. A man wearing a skeleton mask shouted. When he opens the door, said another with the same mask and a small firearm. Quickly, you have to find the target, said another with a fire axe. The first man opened the door by putting his arm inside and removing the handle. The mothers were scared seeing the situation and James put on fighting potion waiting for them to open the door, while Jeremiah stayed calm putting his wife on her back. When the men entered, the first one received a blow from James, while the other with the axe prepared to hit him, but a charge from Giovanni knocked him to the ground. The other with the gun pointed at Siobhan and prepared to shoot, but a blow from an emerald energy fist slammed him against the wall. Don't mess with my mother, Jessica shouted with her ring raised. Jessica? Her mother asked. James was so surprised by the turn of events that the man beneath him twisted his arm and pulled out a knife. Careful, Dad, Barbara shouted, throwing a batarang hitting the man's hand, making him release his knife. Barbara then launched herself at the man, hitting him with a series of combos and high kicks that left him KO. See Pumpkin? James asked in surprise. Well, I think the subtlety is gone, said Carol, shooting a flaming violet heart at the man Giovanni was fist fighting with. Carol? What the hell is going on? Carolina shouted. Dad, Barbara tried to explain to James, but he stopped her by raising his finger. We'll talk about this another time, James said. Okay guys, I think everyone knows, so let's get ready, said Z, taking her wand out of her cleavage and transforming into Zatanna in an emerald aura. Carol used her ring and a strong violet light covered her and she appeared in Star Sapphire's costume. Honey, you know we'll talk about your outfit design another time, Carolina said. Jessica, like Carol, changed into her suit with her ring and an emerald light surrounded her. Karen used her pendant and a series of pieces of her suit came out around her, enlarging and placing themselves on her. Well, that's a cute Karen outfit, Inko said clapping. Kara, instead of tearing her clothes as usual, used a pendant similar to Karen's that when she took off her suit a strong flash that forced the others to close their eyes appeared and when they opened them Kara already had her Supergirl suit. Kara honey, don't you think you show too much? Asked her father, seeing his daughter's new outfit. Now I know transformation, said Barbara and Zatanna used her wand transforming Barbara into Batgirl. I told you before, you don't have to say transformation, Zatanna said with a sigh. Donna spun very fast and when she finished she already had her heroine costume on. Is the Z suit ready? Izuku asked and Zatanna used her wand again, this time on Izuku. Izuku had a new version of the suit this time with a hood to cover his green hair and at Z's request, with bunny ears included. This is just, wow, Carolina said. Daughter, you look great in your new outfit, said Inko, hugging Izuku. Mom. I have to fight evil, enough is enough. Embarrassed hat. Donna, I don't have to pretend anymore? Hippolyta asked and Donna nodded, that's what I wanted to hear. Hippolyta took out a pen that when she pressed its button turned into a sword and her watch into a shield. How is that possible? Jessica asked in amazement. The advantages of your other daughter dating Batman, said Hippolyta. I'll help too, said Giovanni taking out his wand. Should I help too? Inko asked, levitating the bat into her hands. I'm ready to beat up some bad guys, she said with a face that she thought was intimidating. That's the spirit, sister. Let's show that we can fight those criminals, said Hippolyta. Mom, you can't put yourself in danger, Izuku shouted. Your son is right, you shouldn't do that, said James, you must be an Amazon, right? If I am, that's why I'll fight this time, said Hippolyta. It would be very helpful, said James. I wanted to fight too, Inko complained with a pout. Inko should protect herself, said Kara. It's okay dear, take care of yourselves, said Inko. I'll stay with them in case someone else comes, said Giovanni. So do we have an idea of who the culprit is? Jessica asked. It's the Scarecrow, that's for sure, James said, looking at the masked guys. Those are his thugs. So the boys along with Hippolyta and Commissioner Gordon ran through the halls looking for the culprit of everything. Entering the gymnasium, they found about 24 masked men carrying the unconscious bodies of the students and their parents. All the men drew weapons when they saw them. It will take a long time if we all stay, find whoever is responsible for this, said Hippolyta walking calmly towards the men. I'll help my mother, continue, said the girl being. Will they be okay? Carol asked. They are Amazons, I would worry more about the poor devils who wanted to fight them, said Supergirl. Once again in the school corridors they were stopped by a group of the same henchmen. I'm in charge, hurry up, said Green Lantern creating an energy armor. I'll help her, said Bumblebee shrinking and shooting at the men. The others continued through the school hallways when they came across a completely dark hallway. How did the gas not affect you? Asked a dark voice in the darkness. Well, it doesn't matter because I already found you. Gordon. Come out, Scarecrow, I know it's you, James shouted, borrowing a taser from Carolina. I see you recognize me, that's flattering, but I want to make you pay, Gordon. You left Goth without saying goodbye. You're evil, said the Scarecrow, coming out of the darkness. That's flattering, but I want to make you pay, Gordon. You left Goth without saying goodbye. You're evil, said the Scarecrow, coming out of the darkness. I see you also brought the superheroic foxes and the rabbit, he said mockingly, bothering the girls. What did you call me? Supergirl shouted angrily. What's up, Superbict? Are you bothered by it? Ha 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 ha. The Scarecrow said mockingly. Damn. Supergirl screamed, launching herself at the villain. The Scarecrow quickly dodged it and from his pockets took out a small, very advanced weapon. If I were you I would calm down, that goes for everyone, he said pointing at the heroes. Damn it, I can't risk it with a gun, thought Batgirl. Do you really think a puny weapon could do anything to me? Asked Supergirl, preparing her laser vision. The villain quickly aimed at Supergirl, shooting what appeared to be a green bullet, knocking Supergirl to the ground. Supergirl. Her worried friends shouted. D-damn, W what was that? He asked weakly. A little gift from a friend of your cousin, he said, pointing again at the others. Luther, said Deku. Correct, said the villain. The bald guy may be in jail, but the poor guy knows how to manage. He even managed to make synthetic kryptonite. It may not be as lethal to them as the original, but it makes them lie on the ground for a while. On the other hand, for a human, well, let's say it's still a normal bullet with a high amount of radiation. We have to do something about that gun, Zatanna said, starting to cast a spell in a low voice. Oh, I heard you, girl, said the Scarecrow, pointing his gun at Zatanna, shooting. Zatanna, Deku shouted, throwing himself to remove her from the bullet's path. Are you okay? Why, yes, how can you be so persuasive? Said the magician. James launched himself at the villain to knock him down, landing a punch to his chest and using his taser on him. Do you really think that toy would work? I asked, pointing at the commissioner's chest and firing. Commissioner! They all shouted in fear. Pa! Commissioner! Batgirl was furious. What's going on? It's not like it's that serious, he said, shrugging his shoulders. In a careless moment, Star Sapphire threw a bit at his hand, causing him to drop his weapon. Shit, said the villain, dodging a blow from a furious Batgirl. What's going on, Batbitch? Does the old man affect you? Dodging another punch and kick from Batgirl and a shot from Zatanna. The Scarecrow counterattacked Batgirl with a series of blows to her chest and ribs, then swept her legs away, knocking her to the ground in pain. Batgirl, Deku shouted along with Zatanna, worried. Damn! Star Sapphire charged a giant energy heart to launch it. I don't think so, said the villain, taking Batgirl by her belt and cape collar and turning her to throw her at Star Sapphire, knocking down the two girls. Do you really think some kids can beat me? I've fought Batman and about 4 Robins. Do you really think I learned nothing from that? Asked the villain, grabbing the weapon from the ground. One for all, full cowling 20%, said Deku, jumping quickly towards the villain. The Scarecrow quickly dodged the blow by moving to the left, but Deku made a 180 degrees turn using the floor and launched himself again against the villain, hitting him. Now Zatanna, Deku shouted. The magician created a magic cube trapping the villain. Deku. What a blow, kid, he said, getting up from the ground. I see you locked me in with you. You won't be able to escape this like this, said Deku. You hurt my friends, you insulted them, you hurt Commissioner Gordon, and you threatened this school. I'm really furious. And what are you going to do, hit me? He asked amusedly. You know, if you get close you'll shoot yourself with this, and not even your speed will be able to help you, kid. Zatanna. Lights, said Deku, and darkness took over the cube. Do you really think this will help you? He said, bastards. I can't see anything, that damn Gordon damaged the visor. Thinking about the attack with the taser. You know, one of the advantages of training with Batman is that you get used to the darkness, said Deku. And in case you don't know, I'm from a goth background, I shouted angrily. During that time I also developed a new move with Batman. Do you want to be the first to try it? Deku asked. Well, what are you waiting for? Come on, he said with the gun on the defensive. If he gets close enough I'll be able to shoot him. Well, you wanted it. Green photos were seen in the darkness. There you are, I shouted, shooting in the direction of the rays. The reds began to move in all directions from top to bottom, from left to right, increasing speed. Take this. Gotham Smash. He shouted, hitting the Scarecrow multiple times from all directions and angles. Zatanna decides the cube, watching how an unconscious Scarecrow falls to the ground all beaten up with his damaged suit. Work done, said Deku. What happened? Asked Batgirl, lying on Star Sapphire's lap. Batgirl. You woke up, I shouted, getting everyone's attention. I'm glad you're okay, said Green Lantern. Didn't it hurt you too much? Bumblebee asked worriedly. What happened? He asked, standing up. Well, Deku stopped the villain. Supergirl is recovering with her parents, and your father, well. Wonder Girl was taken by the shoulders by Batgirl. My dad is fine. I shout worriedly. Because you don't see it yourself, he said, stepping aside to show James being bandaged on the arm by Inko. Dad, Batgirl shouted worriedly. Barbara, is she okay now? I asked. That's what I should tell you, she said angrily. Don't worry, Pumpkin, your father never leaves home without this, he said, opening his shirt, revealing a bulletproof vest. I'm glad you're okay, Daddy, said Batgirl, hugging him. And Deku? My son went with Giovanni's help to wake people up, said Inko. Turns out the Scarecrow had some kind of antidote for his gas, Star Sapphire said. But how could a villain like the Scarecrow be so dangerous? Wonder Girl said. He's a criminal who can be easily defeated, but today he didn't seem like that, James said thoughtfully. There's also the matter of him having a weapon so he could hurt a Kryptonian, Kara said somewhat weakly. And the way he was fighting, he seemed very aware of his surroundings and he was moving very fast, even dodging Supergirl, said Zatanna. Maybe that has something to do with this, said Deku's voice entering the room. I found it in his suit when I was looking for the gas antidote. Showing James a patch that looked very advanced. This has circuits, he said, looking at it closely. I'll show it to Batman. Thus the day of open classes ended, with the arrest of the Scarecrow and his henchmen. When everyone went home, the girls who had their identities hidden had a talk with their parents, and although at first they did not agree with letting them continue fighting evil, they saw that the world is a better place when heroes fight to defend others, and today they proved it. Although they were made to promise that they would always be together to help each other and that if things got complicated they would wait for more experienced heroes.